What's up, everybody? Donegan McQuaig here, broker, realestateLA.com, at Quixotic Realty. I just wanted to make a video to say F you to all the California housing bears and all these influencers on social media that are fear-mongering and causing people to hold off on buying in a house. Now, I do not sell fucking houses, okay? I am not a residential real estate agent. I do primarily commercial leasing, so I do not have a dog in this fight. So, but I keep continuing to see it, so I wanted to make a quick video, hopefully it's quick, about why the prices, California single-family home prices, are likely to continue to go up in the future, and why, if you're waiting for them to go down, you're probably gonna be waiting a very long time. So, first of all, I just posted on X and Facebook 3 charts from the St. Louis Federal Reserve showing the data from the days on market, median listing price, and the active listings in California. None of the data there shows anything alarming whatsoever. It's all gentle fluctuations. So you can go online and check those out. Now, when people keep talking about a housing crash, all right, when people think of a housing crash, they think of the Great Financial Crisis, right? The Great Financial Crisis was fundamentally different from the situation that we're in today. Okay, it was fundamentally based on fraud. The people that owned houses should not, or that were buying houses, should not have been able to qualify for the loans that they were in. So fundamental fraud was the backdrop. Everyone now is that has a loan for a home was well qualified and could at the time afford it, right? Now, there has been normal, gentle market fluctuations, but if you go on and look at those charts, the data, it just doesn't look alarming whatsoever. So these people that are fear-mongering, you shouldn't worry about it that much. So the main reason for my thesis is that we are fundamentally in an economic backdrop of inflation. The US is in $37.1 trillion in debt, and it continues to go up. Ever since the post-Clinton era, we have been going into more and more debt with the Iraq war, the Afghanistan war, the Great Financial Crisis. The government bought out the auto market, bailed out all the banks. All that fucking money, we still fucking owe it. It was just swept under the rug. So it is still there. We're still paying for it. We're paying interest on it. And there's around $10 trillion that need to be refinanced this year with the US national debt at higher interest rates. And it is a huge problem. So the interest on the US national debt is actually greater than the defense budget. So we are spending more money on interest than we are spending on defense. Let that sink in. So it is basically just a giant rolling snowball. And the government is able to print as much money as they want because we are no longer on the gold standard. Nixon took us off of the gold standard in 1971. So we can print as much money as we want to the freaking moon, right? And that's basically what we've been doing. The debt continues to go up. People talk about that there's no QE or, they're going to do QE. There's been increased liquidity. The Fed has lots of different levers to add liquidity to the system, all of which are inflationary or have been inflationary in our situation. There has been no Doge. So Trump came in, he said he was gonna cut the US national debt. That hasn't fucking happened. He's continuing to increase the deficit just like he did in his first term. Doge took out less than, I think, 200 billion in the debt. So right now the US takes in taxes about $4.5 trillion a year. In Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and veterans benefits are $4 trillion. So we have $500 billion left to pay the interest, to pay the military spending, and all the other stuff that we have here with the US federal government to pay off. And the debt ceiling keeps increasing because where are we getting that money from? How are we able to increase it? Because we keep printing money. So also the government has been buying into the economy. Economists and influencers like Lynn Alden, they note the phrase fiscal dominance. So the government spending is more powerful than the monetary influences on the economy right now, and they've all been very inflationary. When the government spends money that they don't have, it causes inflation. And this is both sides. Now, if we get a Democratic president next time, it's just gonna be the same thing, you know? So people make a thing between the left and the right. That's a whole nother video. You know, at the real bottom line is if we end the Federal Reserve, you know, the economic disparity would end. But yeah, that's another completely different video. So what are we doing? We're giving the economy economic meth. Yeah, so, and Trump loves that shit. So he is just itching to juice the economy. So, and any means necessary, and will continue to do so. So that's another big reason for my thesis of the inflationary backdrop, which are likely to continue to make prices go up. So in an inflationary environment, you want to own hard assets. You want to own real estate. You want to own gold. You want to own physical things you want to own stocks, because the dollar is losing value continuously. In fact, according to the Dixie, the dollar, it's the dollar currency versus the basket of other reserves. We've lost 10% of value in the dollar since the beginning of the year. So what does that mean? It's very inflationary. The dollar keeps becoming worth less and less and less. And the recent economic numbers are actually okay. So the retail numbers just came out today, and they actually showed that they were decent. And part of the reason why for that is the dollar has been losing value compared to other currencies. So the retail numbers probably wouldn't be so great if the dollar wasn't weakening as it is, but it is weakening. And what is that? It's inflationary. And what happens with inflation? The prices of assets tend to go up, right? So the last time the Fed lowered interest rates, the 10-year yield didn't go down. And the 10-year yield is what's responsible for interest rates, mortgages, and stuff like that. So that is a really fucking bad sign. That is a sign that the Fed has lost control of the bond market. So even if they do lower interest rates, the mortgage rates might not go down. And that's one of the reasons why Powell's probably not doing that, why he's not lowering them. But Powell is out in May of 2026, and he may resign, whatever, but the numbers aren't looking so bad, especially with the dollar devaluing the way it is. So it's likely that asset prices will continue to go up, especially when you got Trump there just ready to juice the economy with some more meth. And in the future, if they do lose control of the interest rates, they could do yield curve control, which is they get the 10-year yield down and make mortgage rates go down via a different method than lowering the interest rates. Additionally, California has received a ton of immigration, and that has increased demand significantly, and there's no fucking way they're gonna deport all the people that moved here, thankfully. Possible things to derail this thesis is the employment market. The employment numbers have been weaker than expected. If people do lose their jobs, they might sell their homes, but I don't expect it to be anywhere near as bad as the great financial crisis. And it's likely with the inflationary backdrop to just continue to go up. Also, the stock market could crash. I also think that's unlikely. You got there with Trump and the meth pipe just raring to go. Though Powell's not cooperating. So those are two things that might derail it. But the debt is continuing to snowball. We have not paid off the Iraq war, the Afghanistan war, the great financial crisis. We have not paid for shit in a very long time. That's why the debt keeps rising. And when they print money, what happens? The value of the dollar goes down. And when the value of the dollar goes down, prices of assets go up. So that is basically it. I think it's a decent time to buy a single family home, and especially if you're renting. And one of the other great things about it is, if you can afford it, and if you're worried about the 7% interest rates, you can just put more money on your balance each month to lower the cost of interest that you pay over the duration of the loan. And when they do lower interest rates, I think that's actually going to be very stimulative. And well, it is going to be stimulative, and it's definitely going to be inflationary. And I saw this other guy online. He was saying, "Oh, when they lower interest rates, that's just going to skyrocket the inventory because people stuck in their 3% homes are just going to move." No, I don't see that happening. I see that as people just buying. There's so many people that are waiting on the sidelines to buy, and that's the people that I'm talking to right now. You should just buy, especially if you're renting, and the likeliness is that it's probably going to go up. This is not financial advice either, but if you were my friend, that's what I would tell you. And that pretty much wraps it up. My name is Donegan McQuaig. F you to the California Housing Bears, and until next time.